Hey guys, Aaron here with Or Lawns. I wanted to show you this rundown property that I work because you never see stuff like this on YouTube. You know, it's always the nice striped up lawns and the pristine, like, you know, mowing the property and making it, you know, crossing your T's, dotting your I's, making it perfect. But I wanted to show you this one because it is a mess. It is a disaster, but it's an old rundown carpet mill building. I'll show you what it looks like. All right, so first things first, we'll walk back here and just take a look, you know, and this is the finished product, okay? And the reason I wanted to show this is because sometimes there's things that you take just because you take them, right? If you can agree to terms and your customer is going to be okay with those terms, it's okay to take the job. There's a lot of people that get on here and they want to refuse to take jobs because it's not their way, so it's the highway. You know what I mean? It's kind of dumb to do that. Look at that. It's a mess. Why didn't you mow that? It's because it's a hump. It's a hill. There's bumps. There's screws. There's nails. There's trash. There's junk. There's rocks. Everything that would ruin your mower, it's here. So you would have to trim all of this. And I'm solo, okay? So that ain't happening. And it goes all the way around the building like this. All this little stuff here, you know. It's just totally unrealistic. Now here's the deal. I did give an option, okay, that included trimming because, again, you can work it out with your customer and get terms that you agree on. For me, this property very well could be insane money, right? I could hire a guy, maybe two, get some help trimming all of this. You can't tell, but it's really bumpy and there's pipes. They treat chemicals here or something. I don't know. All of this is so run down. I don't know what's usable and what's in use and what's not, but there's old pipes and stuff. All of it's bumpy. You have to trim that. All this, you know, and this thing just keeps going. Hear the frogs. But yeah, all this in here, I have to raise the deck all the way up, and there's just giant rocks, boulders in here that if I mowed it short, I would just run into all this stuff that's in here. All this gas, power, water, all this kind of stuff, all of your pipes going in, you have to move out. But yes, anyway, sorry, I keep getting sidetracked. You can come to terms with your customer, and if you both agree and you can both be happy with the situation or happy enough, you go through with it. I think I gave them an option with trimming on this. My plan was to hire two guys and have them with me on this lawn and a few others, give a really solid payday. You know, none of this can be mowed. But if I give the two helpers a really solid payday, you know, this property, with the amount of money it would take to get all of this trimmed, prim and proper every single time, I mean, $1,200, you know, a month. If I do it twice, it's like $600 a visit to get everything pristine. Probably closer to 14, you know, but I can't remember what specifically I offered them. But today, if I were to bid this job, I would be around $1,400 a month on a bi-weekly schedule. I don't want to do this junk weekly. Now here's the kicker. since I am only mowing it, load all that field there. I am mowing it weekly, okay? Since I am only mowing it, I am mowing it weekly because I can raise my deck blades. I can mow it at the end of the week. You know, it's like 8 o'clock right now, so I can be out here working when my residentials are asleep, still earning, you know, maximizing that earning window. And like if I'm late, I can't mow it because this is a flood zone right here. There's a lot of the year where I just can't mow it, so it gets skipped a lot. Most of this out here floods. Can't mow it a lot of the time if it rains. All that up there, can't mow it. So pretty much if my mower cannot access it, it does not get cut. And that's our terms, okay? And this is my 3rd year mowing this one. I think it's my 3rd year. But yeah, you gotta take certain jobs. Man, I see people skipping money just because it looks a certain way, or, you know, they don't get their wishes. You know, they don't get to do it exactly the way they want to. And, you know, just to be clear, this is not like a, oh, I need money, I gotta have the work. You know, this is someone that I know. We had a discussion about, here's how much it's gonna be if we do pristine. Here's how much it's gonna be if we just mow it. You know, we can do trimming once every 2 months, and here's a price for that. And what they decided they wanted to do is mowing only. And I said, hey, that sounds great, because you know what? I don't have to hire someone just to deal with your property. But look, I can't mow all that. There's a ton of rocks and junk. But yeah, I see so many people just skipping money and jobs that pay and pay reliably, you know, just because they don't get their way. And listen, man, you don't always get your way, okay? You don't. I would love to be able to come in and do the full works pristine job on this every single time. But you look at this and you tell me that after a while, you wouldn't be absolutely miserable. Because this is a big job. And it's certainly possible to make it look perfect. Let me turn the camera around. All right, so it's certainly possible to make this place look perfect. It would just take so much money. And this is a situation where they bought the building for the sole purpose of flipping it, selling it. And I don't really know the situation there. Another argument that I see for people not wanting to take on stuff like this is they don't want people to drive by and see their truck there, right? And associate your business with a property like that. And anyone who sees you out working and earning money, you know, doing such hard work, and that person is not someone that you want to work with if they're going to be like, oh, he works there, he did that. You know, people don't have the full story of why there's certain things you skip, or why the customer you're working with only wants certain things done. You know, they don't have the full story. So if they're going to jump to that conclusion of, oh, you're a bad provider, service provider, because you know, you leave things uncut, right? If they look at that and they say you're a bad service provider, it's just, you don't have the full picture. And if you're so quick to conclusions that that would be your end point, or your assumption, I want to work for you anyway. So, yeah, man, properties like this, it goes one of two ways. You'll end up doing a situation where, you know, you make in 30 minutes worth of a quick Passover at the end of your week when your blades are already shot, so it doesn't matter if you hit a rock or something. Go do 30-45 minute mow, make a standard pay, you know, a little bit of a premium obviously for the mess, but why would you pass up work that is easy, doesn't give you any issues, flexible? I don't get it. But anyway, I thought that would just be an interesting kind of video to show a messy building, you know, something that is not cookie cutter and pristine and beautiful, you know, a little bit of a reality type thing. Because I think there's a lot of guys that get into this and they don't realize that this is where they're going to be, right? I've quoted like 4 of these in the last 2 years, 4 places like this. And here's the deal, you know, I have no problem doing a job like this, but the person that owns the building has to realize the level of work, the potential damage to machine, property, person, you know, there's so many things to consider. So if you want this to look pristine, it's going to cost so much money, okay? If you're fine and you can settle on having it trimmed up once per year, getting it mowed once a week, and you're just fine, you know, we can do that. That's easy, you know. But the other 3 similar properties like this that I've quoted, they've all said my price is too high, okay? And fine, that's whatever. But my thing is, again, if you want this mess to be absolutely pristine, and you also, because commercial places require this, if you also want tons of insurance in addition to a pristine job, it's gonna cost money, dude, especially if you want them to be reliable. All of these other guys that I've quoted buildings like this would rather go through turnover 3, 4, 5 times a year, because what happens is, especially this year, what happens is in the spring, you get all these new lawn care companies. They don't know what they're looking at. They don't know potential damages to machine, property, people. And on top of that, they're not even used to the summer heat. So they can't handle the summer heat. They just don't know it yet. They don't know that this property is going to absolutely destroy their mowers if they don't do it right. You know, like I say, there's so much that these people don't know, and they come in, they bid it super cheap for all around service, and the manager of the place will go, oh, that's great, yeah, let's do that, and then they're gone in 2 months. Or the summer heat kicks in and they're gone then. And they would rather save money, get 5, 6, 7 full service cuts for nothing, for no money charged, and go through the process of finding that next lawn care guy, or the teenagers that just bought a bunch of equipment and don't know any better. They would just rather go through that whole process over and over and over again than pay super high price to have someone come out with a team, fully insured, and actually keep it pristine. That's been my experience anyway, right? Most of these, I wouldn't say they're not worth it. I would just say if you're pricing well and you know what you're looking at, you're probably just flat out not going to get these jobs, because you should be priced in such a way that they go, oh, you know, anything like this where there's just so much potential for risk, so much of a time suck and labor requirement, it should be priced pretty darn high for full service. Otherwise, you'll be doing what I do here, and you get to mow it once a week, make a standard, you know, how do I phrase it? Because my terminology is different. But you get on these jobs, you mow it once a week, and you make a standard plus, right? A little bit of a premium for the risks, and everyone's happy, right? But don't be afraid to take on ugly properties. It's okay. You're gonna sling a rock at your truck. You're gonna sling a rock around. You're gonna have to sharpen your blade. It's okay. Okay. You know, don't be afraid of this stuff. It's out there. There's money in it, and I assume you need a little bit of money, right? Don't just scoff over these jobs. But anyway, have a good one.